losses. And then, of course, once we get into the 2 seed, 135 wins versus 9 losses. Of course, we don't want to bring up any of the 2 seeds that we've ever had that have lost in that game. One of those 9, of course, is an Iowa State team from years back.
Absolutely.
And then, obviously, the 16 and the 1 seed, we've had only one winner.
The one.
Over 144 games. So just a couple of percentages. If you are the 5 seed, you basically have almost a 650 win percentage. And that's basically right around the same thing for the 6 and the 7 seed. So if you like any of those 5, 6, 7 teams, they're basically winning it right around the same percentage. So just a couple of fun little stats to bring up.
No, it's perfect. Any odds while you're at it? Any odds that you saw that stand out to you, Jay? Not really, right? I mean, it's early to tell, and we don't know how things are going to move. The one thing is, though, with I found it interesting. San Francisco is an early favorite over Murray, which I thought was interesting. It's a 1-point favorite. It's not anything special, but it's I thought it was a little bit more intriguing than I expected it to be. Again, most of these games, when we get into the 1, 2s, and 3s, they're going to be double-digit spreads, and even 4s will be in the high single digits to low double digits. And then we go 5, 12, 6, 11, 7, 10, 8, 9. And these are all spreads that are most likely going to be within 5, 5.5 points. So basically, if you like a team to win, usually you're going to bet them to win bet them to win outright. That's just my take on it. I don't know about you guys.
Bet the money line. Get the odds.
Bet the money line. Nothing wrong with that. Was there anything that stood out to you matchup wise that you love to bet right away, Kev?
No.
Nothing stood out yet.
Nothing stood out to me yet.
I'll give you a couple. I'll give you a couple right off the bat. You talked about the Murray State San Francisco line. San Francisco -1.5. I thought another one that was interesting was the 7-10 matchup, Michigan State Davidson. Michigan State -1.5. That's almost basically a toss-up. So Memphis -1.5 against Boise State was another one. And the one that kind of caught my eye was Chattanooga versus Illinois. And the line is Illinois -7.5. I kind of like Chattanooga plus the 7.5 points right off the bat. That was one of the ones that just jumped out at me. And there is one other one, and that is San Diego State -1.5 against Creighton. I kind of like San Diego State. I kind of like that line right off the bat. So that was probably the only ones I had right off the top to start with. Darren, anything for you?
Well, I like Rutgers laying 1 against Notre Dame. Obviously, if I picked them to go to the 8, I kind of like them there. Michigan is the 11 is a 2.5 point favorite over the 6, which is Colorado State. Again, I know on paper Michigan's got more talent, this, that, and the other thing. Colorado State's a really good team. I think that's an interesting one. Arkansas 5.5 over Vermont. Also, I like Vermont in that matchup. Again, like you said before, I'm a little surprised San Francisco is the favorite. I was hoping I'd catch them getting 2.5, bet them on the money line, win outright, and steal something. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen for me.
Especially the Murray State's the 7 and San Francisco's the 10 seeds. Usually it doesn't run that way. I'm actually looking forward to Murray State with the points, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're getting points with the highest seed. It's always good. Loyola, a favorite over Ohio State by 2. That's early odds. Yeah. I mean, that's one that stands out to me a little bit. UAB getting 8.5 against Houston. I like UAB. I think they can win the game. Again, money line's going to be interesting to see, but that's kind of a cool matchup. LSU or Iowa State. LSU's favored by 5. That seems high. I like LSU to win the game, but it seems high. And Vatek getting a point against Texas. So, again, 6-11 matchup. It's a 1-point spread. So, like we were talking about earlier, I mean, a lot of these games are really close in the spreads. G, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I know everybody's out there betting brackets and putting your pools in. One of the things you can look at if you're interested is if you're betting, if you're picking somebody to win, look at what their odds are on getting to the Final Four or winning. I know Kev had Villanova. Villanova to get to the Final Four is plus 400 right now.
Nice.
And to win the whole thing, Villanova is plus 2,200, Kev. So that's pretty good odds.
$10 wins you 220,
really
baby.
Interested. Yeah.
Tennessee since I picked them.
For me, Arizona was plus 110 to get to the Final Four. And to win the whole thing, Arizona is actually plus 600. So another good line. I kind of like that one. Darren, who did you have to win?
Tennessee. I have Tennessee cutting down the Nets.
Okay, so Tennessee
they'll be out in the first
to
round.
The Final Four. Tennessee to get to the Final Four was plus 500.
Mm-hmm.
And to win the whole thing is plus 2,500. So some pretty good odds out there. If you like a team, maybe you throw $10 on one of these teams to reach the Final Four that you like. I saw the opening lines, and the only team with negative odds to start with was Gonzaga at minus 140 to get to the Final Four. Everybody else is a plus number. So kind of just take your pick. If you like somebody, bet them. You know, the odds aren't too bad. Arizona, Kentucky, Kansas are all under 200, and then everybody else is plus 200 or better. So it's a good bet if you're interested.
I like that. Question for each one of you. I'll start with you, Gino. Last year, the Pac-12 sent 3 teams to the Final 8, and they were much maligned before they got in there, right? Is there a conference that you think will perform very well this year? Is there one that stands out to you? Kevin, the question's coming to you next, so think about it.
I think the Mountain West is gonna have some good games between Boise State and San Diego State, Colorado State. Wyoming got in, and Wyoming's a pretty good team. I'm trying not to tell you the Big Ten because they got 9 teams in there. So, luck just to be, even if they're awful, they're probably going to get 2 or 3 teams into the Sweet 16. The other conference I kind of like is I kind of like the West Coast Conference. Gonzaga is a good team. St. Mary's is a good team. San Francisco is a good team. I know it's not difficult to take the favorite for the whole tournament.
But you got 2 of them in the Final Four.
But it's not difficult to take.
I agree with you. You got 2 of them in the 4. You might as well.
Yeah.
All right, Kev. Is there anyone that stands out to you?
Boy, I'm looking at my bracket. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, no, so am I. That's why I asked.
So it's really hard to really pick one conference. I don't see much out of the Big East if you want to go the other way.
No, you can go the other way. Is there a conference? Do you think the Big Ten is going to live up to the hype of 9 teams?
No. But I've got Michigan out in the first round. I've got Rutgers losing Notre Dame in the playing game. Except for Purdue getting to the Final Four, I really don't have much else going that far.
I got you. I think that they're going to struggle as well, but I do also. I have Purdue to the 8, and I have Illinois to the 8. Those are the 2 that stand out for me. I think the SEC is going to have a really strong tournament. I mean, I don't have Alabama and Arkansas doing much, but I do have LSU getting to the 16, and I have Auburn and Tennessee into the Final Four. So I'm gonna go with that as my conference that I think is going to perform really well. I mean, here's the thing: the Big 12 was the best league all season long. I just don't know if I like anybody that much. I have Kansas as the first number 1 to go down. I have Baylor down in the 16. Those are the 2 best. I have Texas Tech down in the round of 32. So I don't see anything amazing coming out of the Big 12, and that was the top conference in the country all year long, every metric.
They're down this year. They're down this year. I don't have anybody in the ACC even in the Sweet 16.
I find it interesting with the ACC, and the only reason why I do, and I don't either. I don't believe. I have Duke getting knocked out. I have Virginia Tech. I'm sorry, I have Virginia Tech winning one game, actually, only 32. I don't like. I have Miami winning one game. I have Virginia Tech winning one game. I have Duke and Carolina. I have Duke getting to the Sweet 16. That's the only one. I mean, but last year no one had the Pac-12 doing anything, and they had an explosion. So that's why I'm curious about it. It's interesting to think about. So, Kevin, your final thoughts on the brackets? Good job, bad job?
I mean, overall, I think obviously, if we've all got 66, 67 teams, obviously the selections are fine. Like I said, a couple of seeding things that we've talked about. Miami overseeded, Murray State, San Fran, I think both underseeded. You can quibble about a few things here and there, but I thought overall they did a pretty decent job with this bracket.
Cool. G?
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same thing. I have the same contention every year, and that is, once we get past the 7th team out of the conference, these teams are 500. They're close to 500, and in a lot of ways, it's a crapshoot. We could pick whoever we like, but between Indiana, Rutgers, and Michigan, we really have no idea how good or bad any of these teams are going to be in this tournament. Other than that, I really don't have too many gripes.
No, I get it. I mean, listen, for me, I thought Alabama and LSU were a little overseeded. I didn't think either one of them were 6s. I thought they were both a little bit further back. I thought Tennessee should have been a 2. That's one line, not a big deal. I thought Loyola was, you thought they should have been higher. I thought they should have been lower. I thought they were about more of 11 or 12 than a 10, but even still, they're pretty close. And I thought San Francisco should have been a little bit of a higher seed than they were. Also found it interesting that Va Tech would not have gotten in if they lost to Duke. Basically, that's what this tells us, and because they got an 11 seed, so they didn't go in very far, and the committee had determined that they were going to have 2 A10 teams by hook or by crook. So Dayton was should have been rooting very hard anyway for Davidson to hold on to their lead late, and they did not. Actually, a very good game. It's going to be again. Every time you look at it, first time around, you always sit there and say, well, who's going to beat this team and who's going to beat that team? But this year it's a little more parity than usual. So because of all these super seniors and these 23 and 24-year-old kids that have been around forever. John Fulkerson has been at Tennessee since 1974, I think. You have some of these guys that have been around for so long that they just have veteran players. So they don't really, they're not overmatched when they're in an 11-3 matchup, and they're not over. It's not like a bunch of kids trying to make it happen. These super seniors have kind of evened it out a little bit more, so it's going to be kind of crazy. Last week we did a show with Sweeney Murdy, by the way, and I hope everybody got a chance to listen to it. Baseball is now back. He wasn't back when we spoke. Gee, excited? Thoughts?
Very excited. Very excited. Let's get going.
Kev, free agency's already on a whirlwind?
Already free agency, already trades.
Sonny Gray today.
Sonny Gray today. Chris Bassett to the Mets yesterday. Gives them a terrific number 3. Then all of a sudden you slide Carrasco and Walker to 4 and 5. Peterson, McGill with depth. I think that helps them out tremendously. And Ottavino signing today to help that bullpen. They just need another lefty in that pen, or a lefty, not another one.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think we're going to see some fast and furious moves here over the next few days. There's still a lot of big names out that haven't signed. I know Toronto's trying to stockpile pitching. They went out and got Kikuchi yesterday. So they're doing what they can because we all know that they have the hitting to be effective. The Sonny Gray trade I thought was interesting. I didn't expect the Reds to do it. The Twins parted with their 2021 first-round pick, kid named Petty, who I don't know anything about, so I'm not going to lie. But obviously highly touted. But the Twins know that Central is somewhat weak. I guess the White Sox are the favorite right now on paper, you'd have to say. But I think it's anybody's division. So I think the Twins plan on making a run at it, which is pretty cool. We're going to see a lot of stuff. White Sox went out and signed Josh Harrison, that ultimate utility guy, yesterday. So we're going to see a lot of moves over the next couple days. I think this week is going to be really fast and furious.
one of my big fantasy guys.
Josh Harrison. He plays a lot of positions.